People who have invested in XRP are going to get a big reward for their trust, and I can't wait to talk about those reasons in this show. When we think back to 2021, it's clear that XRP did not have a boom like many other cryptocurrencies did. A big part of this was because it was against the law. However, I'm beginning to think that these legal problems are more of a trap, maybe meant to keep regular people like us from getting involved. Among the most interesting things about XRP is that that's why it was made, especially when you think about the digital world we're moving toward. It looks like you've come to the right place to find out about the latest XRP news. One last thing I'd like to ask you before we talk about the great news for today. Please show us some love if you like what we've done. If you click the like button, sign up for our channel, and press the notification bell button, you can join our great group. Now for some good news. We're about to give away a lot of XRP as we're getting closer to having 60,000 members. The process of joining is very easy. There are only 3 steps to follow. Find out as soon as possible more about this. You should not miss this chance. Make sure that the word money side is in your thoughts and notes if you want to be in the drawing for the prize. We are all aware that digitalization will become more important in the coming years, and that almost everything will change to a tokenized form. A close look at XRP's foundational documents, like its white paper, shows that the cryptocurrency's main goal is to make it easier to buy and sell things, not just money, in a world where tokenization is quickly spreading. When thinking about how XRP could be built to handle the trade of tokens and money based on assets, it's interesting to think about what could be done. The answer depends on how well it works. It is a lot easier to do things when they are tokenized, but it's also possible that XRP will combine forces with to make it easier to move money and digital assets. Stellar, which could be seen as XRP's less interesting sister. Let's look at how XRP affects liquidity to better understand why it might change the way money is sent. For instance, the current method needs twice as much money to make a transfer from one bank in Japan to another bank in the United States. From Japan to the United States. For this situation, XRP is very important. The way foreign money transfers are done could change because it makes a big amount of money that is available. I'm going to talk about how XRP might affect the foreign exchange market, FX market, and how liquid the market is this time. Just think about what would happen if a token like XRP made it possible to make deals very quickly. This new idea has the ability to make a market much more efficient by releasing a large amount of liquidity. A lot of banking institutions have teamed up with Ripple because of how fast it works. This being said, it has not yet gotten to the point where it is used in institutions. Allow me to show you an example to help you understand this. In order for the Bank of Mitsubishi in Tokyo to send 100 million yen to its office in New York and then change it into dollars, they would normally need the same amount of money in both currencies at both sites. This would cause $200 million to be held up. That being said, it would be a huge step forward if this exchange could be linked to a token like XRP. Ripple's possible decision to go public is another interesting development that should be thought about. It is still waiting to hear back from the SEC on this ruling. It's a big step forward that Ripple won the case where Judge Torres said it wasn't a security. This is a very important change, even though it's not something we talk about very often on the show. I've been buying an XRP for a while now. I have had a hard time with XRP while we have been together. During the last bull market, I was able to get better returns on other investments. On the other hand, the lawsuit made XRP much less successful. I also think it's interesting that the XRP community sometimes shows such strong emotion that it almost looks like a devotee group. I've been too excited about projects in the past, and XRP was the same way. One big reason I don't like taking risks is the thought that some of my fans may have invested money because of my excitement and then lost it. On the other hand, new technical analysis shows that XRP might be about to experience another rise like the one it had in 2017. Things are set up in a certain way. Those numbers are about the same as they were before the 2017 surge. A lot has been said on the show about the Hunt volatility funnel method, which is also known as the HBF. Francis Hunt's appearance as a guest has given us a lot of useful information. He thinks that XRP will really go up in value and reach $1, which is a big jump from where it is now, which is about $60. In the event that this prediction comes true, it could be a huge win for buyers. The point of the movie we're making today is to please pay attention to what I see as a very important chance with XRP. There is a strong reason to think that people who have invested in XRP will soon make a lot of money. This may sound like an old story, but it's true. In this case, the most important thing to think about is XRP's technical structure, which seems to be going in the same direction that led to its huge gain in 2017. While XRP didn't reach any new highs in 2021, this is actually a good sign for the cryptocurrency as it sets the stage for another spike like the one that happened in 2018. In 2017, as someone who owns XRP, I agree with Francis Hunt's optimistic forecast. I've been looking at how he solves problems for a year now. It's hard to ignore the connections between the trends that happened before 2017 and the ones that are happening now. The fact that XRP could hit 16 is a strong sign that something important is about to happen. Many things could cause this to change, including the chance that Ripple will go public or the possibility that the fact that they just bought back their own stock shows that they are sure of their plan. I think you should add XRP to your portfolio, especially since quick funding is so important in today's business world. Lots of people who own XRP have been very frustrated, and I want to recognize that. I also think the same thing. I do think though that the time we've been waiting for is almost over. The long-awaited run of XRP, which could have a huge impact on its value and place in the market. The Bitcoin market is about to start. What I want to talk about is the idea that the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, might have been trying to keep regular people from investing in XRP because they were told to by higher-ups in the company. It's crazy that more and more banks are working with Ripple even though they were being sued not long ago. There is proof of how strong and useful XRP is, that these financial institutions did not back down when they were sued. The fact that XRP is one thing that makes it different from other coins is that it is not a security. It is one of the few cryptocurrencies that is very clear about how the law treats. After this happens, it's possible that XRP will be able to get a bigger share of the coin market as a whole. There are technical signs that point to this happening. Ripple has made a number of predictions and comments that the year 2024 will be very important for both the company and the cryptocurrency XRP. The way that these promises are actually met will be very interesting to see. It is important to remember that in order to keep a fair that you put all of your money into XRP is not something I would suggest in 2024.